welcome back to the Alchemy of Affluence channel. It's Afura here, and today's video is going to be an updated morning ritual. So many people liked the morning ritual tutorial that I did back around the Winter Solstice, and it's a whole 6 months later, and my practice has evolved quite a bit, as it does. And so I thought I would do an updated version, specifically filmed on the summer solstice, but I've been doing pretty much this exact same thing for the past several weeks. So this one is actually centered around keeping a Book of Shadows junk journal. I recently discovered the concept of junk journaling, and it seriously feels like I've just arrived back home at something that I've always sort of done, but kind of never really fully put myself into. So I'm so excited to share this video with you. There's also elements of Eastern philosophy, meditation, and just some fun witchy stuff that I think you guys are going to love. So, let's dive right in, shall we? I'm still reading a chapter from a self-development book every morning and taking notes on it. Only now I'm taking the notes onto little pieces of paper that I can then stain into beautiful sheets and add into my junk journal when I get ready. And from there, I go ahead and sit down at my altar and light a candle. Using the candle that I've just lit, I just light some incense. Right now I'm using some palo santo because I'm attracting love and blessings into my everyday experience, and who doesn't need that right now? So I just blow the smoke over my altar and over myself and just center and ground myself while repeating a Buddhist mantra that goes Nam Myoho Renge Kyo. I learned this from a book called Buddha in Your Mirror. If you'd like me to do a review of that or to explain a little more about that mantra, let me know in the comments. So once the mood is set, I just like to read over any spell notes or any goals that I have. That's what all these papers are that are scattered all over my altar right now. What I'm reading over in this video is my conversation with the universe. So on one side of the paper, I write down what I'm going to do. And then on the other side of the paper, I write down what I want the universe to do to help meet me with succeeding at that goal. I just read through those every single morning, and if during my meditation I think of a new one, I just jot it down on that same piece of paper. And once one of them is manifested, I just go ahead and cross it off. Next, on a separate sheet of paper, I just have a little list going where every day I write down something that was successful from the previous day. I write the date and a short sentence of one thing that I felt was successful in my day. And then I also am just drawing with another pen in a different color just to create a little bit of a chart, and that's something that's going to be eventually added into my Book of Shadows once it is finished. So from there, I just grab my little potion bottle, which you might recognize from my previous morning routine video. It's actually the exact same potion. It's been around for several months now. There's just still some left, and it's really just an intention for love and peace and fulfillment. So I like to anoint myself with that, and the smell of the herbs that's in it always just brings me to a place of feeling connected to the universe and connected to myself. And from there, it is time to go into meditation. Now, right now, I am actually working with a Ganesh mantra from the Hindu tradition. And if you've been following me for a while, you probably know that I'm kind of what you would call a pantheist or a non-theist witch, which means that I don't directly believe in gods and goddesses in an extremely literal sense. However, I do believe that their energies are something that is real, and the concept of what that god or goddess represents is something that each of us needs in our life. Ganesh is one of the only gods that always just seems to pop back up and remind me that I need to work with him, and he deals with grounding, the earth element, and the root chakra, which is something I've been really working on this year. So I've made myself a set of mala beads with a little Ganesh on it, and I go through the 100 and I think it's 108 times that you're supposed to repeat the mantra Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Again, I can talk more about that in another video if you'd like. Just let me know in the comments. And now for the part that I'm really excited about, the junk journaling. So this is just an experimental junk journal book of shadows that I'm working on right now, and it just naturally ended up taking the form of talking a lot about the wheel of the year, because that's one of the main things that I work with, and it's one of the first things that I started to work with when I got into witchcraft years ago. So I've written quite a bit about the concept of the wheel of the year and what it means to me in the past few weeks, and since today is the summer solstice when I'm filming this, I'm just going to be adding in one of my Book of Shadows pages that's available in my shop. That's just a hand-drawn little doodle for the summer solstice that I drew myself, and it's on some beautiful stained paper. So I'm just using some washi tape and I'm adding that into my journal, and you will see what I do with it after it's added into the journal in the next step. I'm really obsessed with the concept of junk journaling because you can start off with a basic concept of a journal, and then as your practice grows, you can just add more stuff in there and it becomes really eclectic and fun. So I put out my candle and I walk away from the altar, and now it is time for phase 2 of this ritual. The next part of the ritual takes place outside in my little garden patio area because, dude, it's the summer solstice. How could I not enjoy the beautiful weather that we have during this time of the year outside? So I just use headphones and play some gentle classical music just because I live on a busy street, and it's important to me that while I'm journaling in my Book of Shadows, I feel centered and grounded and that there's no distractions. So I just make myself a nice iced cappuccino and I sit outside in my peaceful little garden sanctuary area, and right on the back of that sheet that I added in just now, I'm just doing some journaling about what I feel today about the summer solstice. And of course, my little boy Mowgli is all up in my business because he absolutely loves to spend time outside with me. And he tries to distract me, but I've learned the hack of just petting him with my foot. Sometimes you gotta multitask when you're a cat mom. What I decided to write on the back of that summer solstice piece of paper was just some notes about how it feels to be exploring the wheel of the year in this bizarre year of 2020, where everything is topsy-turvy. We've got all kinds of stuff going on politically and all kinds of stuff going on with the COVID-19 virus, not to mention just other personal things and developments that have happened in my life that have made my life completely different this year than it was previous years. And I took a moment to share a few thoughts with myself about how it almost seems like this year time is passing differently. And even though I work from home and I spend a lot of time focusing on things like cycles and seasons all the time, it still feels different because it seems like other people in my life are experiencing time very differently than they normally do, and they're almost having to be forced to see that plant tend harvest release cycle that nature goes through that us witches pay attention to all the time. I I absolutely love the way this stained paper came out. I think I stained it with coffee, and it also ended up picking up some rust from the pans that I stained it in, and it just looks absolutely gorgeous, especially once it has some scripty handwriting on it. And that's it for my ritual. So if you enjoyed any of the bits and bobs that you saw in my junk journal Book of Shadows, a lot of those things are available in my shop, including the Wheel of the Year, which I designed myself using vintage clip art, and of course the Summer Solstice page, which is completely hand-drawn, and you can get those Book of Shadows pages either as a printable download, or I can actually stain them for you if you would like to purchase a bundle of different stained Book of Shadows pages. I also have a set of manifesting homework pages, like the one you see here, that actually helps you to learn how to manifest using the energies of each of the 8 checkpoints on the Wheel of the Year. And you can actually either download those or have me stain a pack of those for you as well. Thank you so much for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, definitely check out the last one that I did, which is a flip through of my Nature is My Church diary, which is a handmade journal that's available in my shop. And if you loved any of the aesthetics of my books or any of the paper products that I had in this video, definitely go over to writingwitch.com, or you can find me on Etsy at Book of Shadows Journal. And there's tons and tons of either downloadable or hard copy handmade pages, as well as bound books and other fun bits and bobs for your Book of Shadows. I also teach an amazing course on everything you could ever need to know about the Wheel of the Year, most importantly centering it around how you can use the energies to manifest your ideal life each season, even when the world is freaking upside down. And you can learn more about that at wealthywisewitch.com. Thank you so much for watching. Merry summer solstice, and until next time, blessed be.